Would you check out that thing roll? In this video, we're going to be looking at the EcoFlow Blade Sweeper Kit. Man, I really wanted to clean up my lawn. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, this is our second video for the EcoFlow Blade. Today, we're looking at the Sweeper Kit. So you know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. I mow this area with my zero turn, but it is still in the shop, and look how long this is. It's about 8 to 10 inches long, and it looks terrible. In the interim, I brought out my push behind trimmer, and I used it almost like a walk behind lawnmower, except this grass was far too long for that. As you can see, it did a great job. I will say, if you have a hard time carrying around a traditional trimmer and trimming around bushes or trees, this thing is amazing. I've had mine for a few years, and it definitely saves your back. If you're interested, I will link this down in the description. The disadvantage of cutting up all that tall grass, now we're stuck with these clumps of clippings everywhere, so I'm hopeful that this yard sweeper can do the job and clean this up. Here's our assembly. You can see where our sweeper kit bag is completely empty. So what we are going to do is we are going to hook this piece right up here into the top of the yard sweeper kit. When you hear that click, you know that you are ready. So now let's go hook up our sweeper kit to the EcoFlow Blade. What we are going to do is we're going to install the kit to the blade. Right in here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little tiny screw, and it corresponds with this nut here, right here on top. And of course, we're going to tie it right back here on the back side of the blade. It is very important that you get this lined up and put in place, because if you do this incorrectly, you can actually end up pulling the wire out of the back side of the blade. Here we are in place. Now we can screw it down. Of course, we're going to push in and turn. I've gotten to the point where I can't tighten this anymore, so I'm just going to wiggle it and lift up to see if I can move it. Yep, it seems tight, but now let's tighten this down a little more, and there we go. Now we're going to put our wire in place. We're going to pop this down and screw it in. Sweeping module connected. You heard it just tell us that the sweeping module was detected, and you should know, if you've not yet used the sweeper, you might have to update your firmware. From the app itself, you're going to have to change it from mowing to sweeping, and then of course we're going to hit save, hit continue. Now we are in enhanced mode, and the sweeper will work. I think this is going to take a while. It's actually done two paths. You can see right here, not so much in the middle, but then right over here, it seems to have done a really good job. And then all of a sudden it went away. I thought maybe it was doing like a random pattern, but then I think the sweeper is full. And I was like, already? So this is frustrating. The blade just told me it was full, or at least the sweeping kit bag was full. And now it's heading back to the charger. I've taken a look at the app, and the only thing I can do is pause this. I actually cannot stop it right now to empty the bag and have it keep working. It has to go all the way back to the charger before I can program it again to go back and sweep. This to me is a waste of time. My thoughts are, as firmware updates, that might be an option. Let's see what less than 10 minutes of sweeping got us. Wow, look at that. I guess it's kind of full. I can shake it back. Yeah, you know what? It is kind of full, but in my opinion, this is going to take a long time. There's actually a fair amount of grass that was picked up, and even some sticks. I'm actually pretty impressed with the stuff that was picked up for this little tiny yard sweeper. We had started sweeping, and then all of a sudden it cruised right back here to the base, and I got a message on the phone saying that the sweeper kit mower blade is blocked, so I'll be interested to see what that is. Let's open this up. I think it may have just picked up too long of grass or straw or hay or whatever, and so that's what clogged it up. So I'm going to clean this out and set it back out again. So tell me, what are your thoughts of this sweeper kit? Something you need? Do you want it, or not so much? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Starting again with the sweeper. Let's see what happens. You can look ahead there and see some long grass. Let's see how it does. Oh, it seemed to pick most of it up. Very exciting. Now we're not really going straight. We're kind of on an angle, but maybe it's just going to the border. I tell you what, this thing breaks down more often than I'd like to say. So we've been sweeping. We went back and forth 2 rows. All of a sudden it came to a dead stop. Well, then the app says no connection with the antenna. Now, that being said, the antenna has not moved. It's been there for 2 weeks. It needs a connection. The back tail light was blinking yellow rapidly. Now it's blue, so I'm thinking we can start again. But this is pretty frustrating because if I wasn't here, this would just sit here all day. As you can see, this entire area is full of cut grass and some leaves. We are definitely putting the EcoFlow blade to the test. Oh, it almost tipped itself over. There's also some leaves here. And the funny thing is, there's not actually a steep slope here. I'm not sure why it keeps trying to tip itself. That's weird. All right, let's see. It's back on its path. Let's see if it gets all that grass. Oh yeah, cleaned it up real nice. To avoid this going back to the base and charging, we did learn our lesson. Every 2 passes, I'm actually taking this out, dumping it, putting it back in, and pushing play again. Now you see it. Here comes the blade. And look at that, it picked up some of that long grass. All right, here we go. Let's see if any of that grass gets picked up. Here comes the EcoFlow blade with its sweeper. I will say the paths that it's crossing over and clearing through is really doing a great job cleaning. But for some reason, it doesn't go very straight. All right, I think as we get down to the other end, it might reset us up because I want to get this big clump right over here gone. Let's see what it does now. It's turning around. Here it comes. The moment of truth. Will the blade take up all of that grass? Look at that. It left a pretty clean lawn. I think I'm gonna let this go one more pass before I empty the sweeper kit. Wow. It is impressive how much cut grass the sweeping kit actually picks up. This part was all covered and now it's nice and clean. You can see we haven't quite gotten here to the right side yet. I pushed pause on it, but check out the difference. The blade sweeping kit actually does a pretty good job. In my opinion, the sweeping kit was never meant to pick up this high volume of cut grass. So if you're just using it on your grass and it doesn't get this thick or this built up, I think you'll do fine. As for me, like I said, I do have to dump it out every 2 stripes going back and forth just so it does not stop and go back to the base. In this video, we were looking at the EcoFlow Blade Sweeper Kit. So what did I think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. This item can actually be purchased 2 different ways. One is a standalone, which is around $700, or you can buy it as a bundled kit, which I think you get it for right around $300, or there's like $400 worth of savings. Let's talk about the functionality. It was really quick and easy, almost like a plug-and-play device, although there is 1 screw. I will say that 1 screw does worry me because as I was tightening it in, after using it for a period of time, I noticed that I had to tighten it again. I kind of wish there was another way or a secondary way that this is held to the blade. For the most part, it does a pretty good job sweeping things up. And I think under regular use, this is something that I think someone would find benefit of. I found that I was able to get small twigs and sticks. I was able to get lots of grass, and you know what? It did it pretty quickly. My disadvantage was the amount of grass that I had to pick up. This blade just couldn't do it. I mean, 2 passes back and forth, I had to stop it and dump it. Otherwise, it went back to the charging base every time. That was so very frustrating. Not to mention, there seems to be a lot of glitches still with this item, and I noticed a lot of times, and I think maybe 10 or 15 where it was just going, all of a sudden it made a hard stop, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Because I was sitting there with it, and all of a sudden I hear, welcome, like it rebooted. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then it lost the whole map system that we already went through, and that was really, really frustrating. Now, when I say it lost the map was still stored. It just didn't know what it had already gone through and swept, so to speak. I do see pros and cons. Definitely for me, it's not something I would use on a regular basis. It seemed more cumbersome, but I can see that some people may get benefit from it. Anyway, that was my full review, or part 2 of the EcoFlow Blade. This is the sweeper kit. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I am interested to see how this does, going back to the base with the sweeping kit on. It just seems to be doing some circles, even though the base is right there. Let's see, maybe it's just lining itself up. I guess we're going to do another circle. I'm really not sure what the malfunction is here. All right, go forward. Nope. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. Go to your home. It's right there. You can do it. So I had to manually put that on the charger, which is kind of frustrating because if I wasn't here, what would it do? I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the EcoFlow Blade Sweeper Kit. You know what? If you didn't see my original review of the blade, I'm going to link that right up here. But if you already saw it, I'm also going to link my Works Landroid review right over there. And I would love it if you would click on one of these two links. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm going to join you right here or right there. Go ahead, click one. They're safe. I promise.